The testes develop near the kidneys during embryonic and fetal development. The kidneys are very posterior, and if we take a look at the kidneys using a transverse section, as they're showing with this sheet of glass that's going through the body, this transverse section, we can better appreciate how posterior the kidneys are, because here is the vertebral column, and here is a kidney. And you can see that the kidney is located behind this membrane called the parietal peritoneum. The parietal peritoneum lines the abdominal and pelvic cavities. This space located behind, posterior to the parietal peritoneum, is known as the retroperitoneal space. This is the space where the testes develop. In this picture, they're showing us how the testes descend down into the scrotum prior to the person being born. So this picture is of a 7-month fetus. The testes descend down into the scrotum, guided by a connective tissue cord called the gubernaculum. And when they descend down into the scrotum, notice that the parietal peritoneum, that membrane that was lining the abdominal and pelvic regions, extends and follows the testes down into the scrotum. Here we can see that eventually the parietal peritoneum that followed the testis down to the scrotum will break off, creating a double layer membrane that is found on the anterior and lateral surfaces of the testis on the outside. That's called the tunica vaginalis. Tunica vaginalis was the parietal peritoneum that followed the testis down into the scrotum. And right below, deep to the tunica vaginalis, is the actual outside of the testis itself. That layer is known as the tunica albugenia. Taking a look at this picture of a mature testis, here we can see the tunica vaginalis. That's that extension of the parietal peritoneum. We can see the double layer of that on the anterior surface of the testis and outer coating. And right below that, we can see what they're calling the tunica albugenia, which is collagen rich. It's the actual outside of the testis itself. And the tunica albugenia, in addition to encasing the organ, it is the outside of the organ, it sends these extensions down, like divider walls, into the organ, known as septa, or septum, that's singular. And the septa are going to subdivide the testis into these individual compartments known as lobules. Let me show you this in a different way. Here's another view of the membranous coating that surrounds the testis. So this membranous layer on the outside, this is called the tunica vaginalis. Tunica vaginalis is that outer membranous coating, the extension of what was the parietal peritoneum. And if we look below that, we can see the actual outside of the organ. This is the tunica albugenia. The tunica albugenia sends dividers into the testis, and it segments the testis into compartments called lobules. Each one of these segments is called a lobule, and if we look inside of a lobule, it contains a structure called a seminiferous tubule. All lobules contain at least one seminiferous tubule, up to 4 seminiferous tubules, but the seminiferous tubules are the site of sperm production. And so the seminiferous tubules are sperm-producing factories. The sperm that are produced in the seminiferous tubule all get emptied into this maze of channels within the testis, known as the Reedy Testis. All of the sperm produced by the seminiferous tubules empty into this maze of channels called the Reedy Testis. The sperm that exit the testis exit from this region, the Reedy Testis, into the epididymis.